What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, we're back. We weren't here last week. Kyle was feeling sick, but we got lots of things to chat about. But before we get into any of that, thank you, Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly, Karen. We'll get some merch. I got merch under my Star Wars baseball jersey right now. Yeah, go do all that good stuff. Help us get to that 2,000 mark, and we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about, but very quickly, let's start with the Oscars. It was announced like a week or two ago that stunts will be added to the Academy Award, I believe in 2027. Long overdue. Okay, our movie club Oscars, Kyle and I added stunts before they did. So
day one.
But yeah, long overdue. The stunt community deserves it. It'll be cool to see more. It'll also allow more people to join the Academy. It'll make it even more prestigious of an award, harder to win, because you'll add more members. You're going to add members of the stunt community, so that'll be really cool. I love it. Kyle, any thoughts?
No, like you said, is past overdue. I'm very happy to hear this finally after many years of waiting. Between Conan coming back for hosting and stunts being added as a category, things are turning around for the Oscars, maybe for Kyle. So maybe he will be back next year watching it. But all joking aside, though, this is great. This is an area of the making of a movie that is very important and should be given more credit where it's due. By the sounds of it, I believe the nominees will be like the coordinators rather than the actual stunt people, but I still feel like that's a fair trade-off, and it still is great representation anyway. So, and it makes sense because the coordinator's job is to coordinate everyone to make that stunt possible, to make sure it's safe, to make sure it's
and a lot of the
paid off and it's well executed.
A lot of the times, a stunt coordinator tends to be a stunt man or stunt woman. They tend to be
they've had that
in the field. They also do it. They just now are also hired to I'll coordinate it. Here's what you're going to do for the actors. Let me show you how to do it. All those things. So, yeah. But let's move into the big topic here. Star Wars Celebration. Come on, you don't put the old jersey on for nothing. Kyle texted me yesterday and goes, "Did you even know Celebration was happening?" And I didn't. It was crazy. I've been so out of touch this last couple months with things being so stressful. And this has been my spring break, so I've been trying to relax. I haven't been on my phone a whole lot, and I was on my phone late Thursday night, and I was like, oh crap, Star Wars Celebration happened tonight. So then I started diving full on in, watching a couple of the live streams. So I want to go through a couple of the big announcements here. The two biggest things that are happening. One, they showed footage of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Pedro Pascal was there. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. I mean, everybody was there. It was held in Japan this year, which was cool to see. But they announced that Mandalorian and Grogu is still happening. It's filming. They're working on it, and this movie is still coming out. Sigourney Weaver was added to the cast. She came out on stage, talked a little bit about how cool it was to be in Star Wars. I think she's playing a rebel pilot, which is really cool. Well, I guess not rebel, there's a new democracy going on here. The rebels are now in charge. They've won the day. Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, the other biggest announcement was that what's his name? Sean Levy, right? That's the director. That his movie is not only happening. I mean, he was asked that. I watched that panel where he said, "Is your movie happening?" And he said, "Dude, we're filming. What are you talking about? It's happening." They announced that the rumors were. I don't know why Kyle thinks he's being funny right now, being skeptical.
I think it's very fair to be skeptical.
They're filming. And they announced that the rumors are true, that Ryan Gosling is the lead in the film. Ryan was there. I watched his panel, was wearing a great hat. If you know, you know.
Was it a Star Wars hat?
Of course. It said, "Never tell me the odds." They sounded very passionate about what they were doing. Ryan said he loved the script, thought the script was incredible. His humor, his natural humor, I think very much can fit Star Wars. I don't know about Sean Levy fitting Star Wars' humor as much, but I'm going to be open-minded moving forward. But that is coming out in 2027. It'll be releasing, I believe, on the 50th. It's an anniversary of when the original trilogy or the New Hope came out or something. In 2027 in May. It'll be like I believe it was like a certain anniversary for one of the movies or the originals, something. And they announced the title that it is called Star Wars Starfighter. Great title. I loved the title. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Kyle, what do you think so far about Mandalorian and Grogu and Star Wars Starfighter?
I'll believe these movies are coming out, or I'll believe they're a real movie once I'm in the theater for them. Cause I don't know. I just like the bit of we don't get anything actually coming out from Star Wars. They just keep announcing stuff like crazy. I don't know. I guess these are like the more.
The difference is they're filming. Nothing else ever filmed. Nothing else ever filmed. It was cool on the panel because he looked like he got it. He like Sean Levy was like, yeah, like the look on his face when she asked that question was like, yeah, I know everybody's worried that this actually isn't going to happen, but like I think they start filming in about a month, that they are done and they are now in pre-production and they're actually scouting. He's like, yeah, we're going to, or I think maybe it was the fall of 2025, but they are about to start filming and actually get rolling. He was like, no, this movie's happening. Like this movie will be made. But yeah, sorry, continue.
No, it's all right. For myself with Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm fine with making this show an event type of thing. I just hope that the production value shows that it's worthy for big screen excitement rather than just it feeling like it was made for TV, but they just threw it into theaters. That's kind of a pattern that drives me nuts, where it looks like streaming quality movies go to the big screen somehow. And then for the what's it called? Starfighter? Star Wars Starfighter. I don't know. I just like Ryan Gosling. So I think he's in an interesting era right now where he's choosing projects that are like, have a bit more of a pop, a bit more of a fun blockbuster-y type of feel to them, like Fall Guy, and now with the Amazon space project that he's working on, and now
Project Hail Mary.
This movie, Project Hail Mary. Thank you.
It's going to be incredible.
Drawing a brain fart on that one.
Movie's going to be awesome.
But yeah, I think that's just the era of movie going that he's in right now. So it's kind of exciting to see a guy, an actor on his level, like joining Star Wars such as this. So did you mention what his role was going to be? I thought I heard that it was like
he
was a Jedi. Oh,
no, I think he's a rebel pilot. Is what I thought I heard, but I don't know if they actually announced anything. Did you hear that?
I thought I read it somewhere, but I don't know. Maybe I misread it somehow, or maybe it was wrong. I don't know. It sucks that this is what's happening to me now. I can't tell what's real and what's not real anymore. Who's giving me the real information?
Stupid. I know that this story is that their story is going to take place, I believe, 5 years after Episode 9. They made a big deal that this is a new story. It is not the Skywalker saga. This is a new story. They said some characters might come over, but they wouldn't be major characters. Like it would probably be like a specific, side alien or something that we've seen.
Admiral,
I think is kind of my guess.
Admiral?
But
Akbar's son. That's who we'll see. What was I gonna say?
Where did you see that? It's this article.
I truthfully don't remember. So maybe I
made it up.
I made it up. Clearly, I do appreciate that context about it being after Episode 9, but it's not like Episode 10 or anything like that, which is fine with me. I don't really care about how many years specifically something is in Star Wars, just because you literally started by saying a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but it's all futuristic and stuff. So it's like, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter how many years something takes place after another. But that's just the casual fan in me anyway. I understand that for, the more diehard fans, that's a bit more of importance. But it is good to know that's of where it is, I suppose.
Yeah, I think with the name too, Starfighter, if you know anything about the old school Starfighter games, they're like the Star Wars ones. I think he's just going to be a pilot. My guess is he will be a rebel pilot on a mission, and shenanigans ensue.
I probably should have guessed that with the name of the movie and all. So,
and I bet when Project Hail Mary comes out, the first thing everybody's going to say is, "Wow, I'm really excited for him to be in space again in Star Wars." Like when that movie hits. Yeah, they also announced that. They also announced that the other planned movies are still happening. That I believe it's James Mangold's movie. His Jedi Origin is happening. I believe he was there. I believe all three directors were there. They said Taika Waititi's movie is still happening, and I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but the woman doing the Rey movie, that her movie is still happening.
Sure, guys.
You take a little less stock in that. Kyle's become so cynical, though, because of the Batman 2. That's really where all this is coming from. At the end of the day, this is all just about Batman 2. But when Batman 2 announces that they're in production, Kyle will be like, they're filming now. They're filming. It's happening. And I'm going to be like, sure it is, bud. And he's going to be like, no, it is. We're going to reverse this.
So my nerdy, sweaty need for the Batman 2, I'm now taking it out on Star Wars. That's what you're saying? Star 100%. Wars didn't start this? Oh, weird. Okay.
No, they never did.
I could have sworn Star Wars started this before, but I must have misremembered things.
Classic post-COVID Kyle. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you're going to come around at me and be like, wow, they're in pre-production. Batman's going to get in pre-production. Kyle's going to be talking all this smack. No, there is reason to be skeptical, especially with Taika's movie, because there was tons of reports that Taika was no longer doing it. Disney didn't want all that stuff after Thor: Love and Thunder. So I think that is actually the most kind of like interesting, like we heard the Rey movie, the James Mangold movie. We haven't heard anything else since last Celebration. And then Taika, we had heard stuff in between, and now they're saying it's still happening. But, they've been saying Rian Johnson's been, his trilogy is going to happen for 10 years. So, yeah, I'm with you. These are, until you are actually on boots on, that's when I'm like, okay, we are going to get this movie. When the boots are on the ground, then I'm more worried is it going to be a good movie or not. But until then.
Yeah. And truthfully, this isn't just a Star Wars thing. Like for years, Hollywood has always made promises of these projects for other directors or for franchises or whatever the case may be. And it always, and they always wind up being empty promises or just ways to make people happy, but they still never wind up coming to fruition. Or you have just an Uncharted situation where it's just so baffling and annoying that it can never get made for 15 years. And then somehow it finally gets accomplished. So I don't know. It could be any one of those cases with even Star Wars. It's just unfortunate because Star Wars is just so, even for people being down on Star Wars, it's just such a name and such a big deal for people that it's going to have more eyes towards these empty promises over, whatever passion project some director has that never comes to light.
Mm-hmm. Other big announcements, they showed the first 2 episodes of Andor. They also released the embargo is lifted, and a ton of people have seen now the whole show and have been saying that the show is excellent.
Yeah.
That it is better, a step up from season 2, that it is just excellent. I do know the show is shot basically as 3 movies. Each one is kind of its own separate movie as they do big time jumps, but They
did that last time too, I think. Last season they did that too.
No.
The episode, weren't they clump of episodes that were a range of time? In the last season?
They don't do a time jump, no. But they do kind of clump together. But they don't do a massive time jump. He is in prison for a while. But I believe the difference between every 2 episodes is something 3 years goes by. And they don't do that in the first one. Yeah. Because they got to catch up to how old he looks. I mean, his Rogue One came out in 2017, 2016.
Yeah. No.
So, other announcements, Hayden Christensen came out on stage, said he will be in Ahsoka. He's excited to get to continue to play Anakin, probably in more flashbacks, things like we saw in Ahsoka season 1. Ahsoka season 1's very good. Dave Filoni was there talking about how he doesn't mess with Anakin's story, that they will, you're not adding anything to Anakin by having Anakin in, but we are telling the story of Ahsoka, and sometimes Anakin has to be a part of her story. And he said, George has finished Anakin's story. I'm not going to do anything to add, change, like none of that is happening. I'm just telling this story of Ahsoka, which I think is great. It means we'll just get fun flashbacks, teaching moments from either Clone Wars or things that happened at that time. I think that's great.
For sure. Yeah. Was that a worry people had? That's weird to bring that up to me, but okay.
Animation, this was one of the biggest announcements. They had Sam Witwer come out, who voices Darth Maul. They're going to be doing a new animated series called Maul Shadow Lord that'll premiere next year. I think this is awesome. I think more Darth Maul is great. When they do some serious animation with this style that they'll continue with Clone Wars and Rebels, they have done nothing but put out great content. Rebels is a great show. Clone Wars is great.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. He loves voicing the character. I think this is fun.
What's it about? Did they say it all, or?
I believe it takes place, obviously spoilers for the end of Rebels, but you know that Maul finally dies. Like we know that Maul dies from Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan finally will get at him. I think it's all the stuff in between Order 66 and when he gets to that point, minus obviously the few times you see him in Rebels, but it's going to be more because the end of Solo, he's a gang leader. Like he's running a huge underground, like the Hutts. So I think that's what the primary focus is going to be, is just how did he end up getting to different spots and whatnot. But that made me think too, with the Ahsoka show, they also announced there will be a lot more Ezra. There's going to be a lot more of tons of the Rebel characters back, like all the Rebel characters that people were like, we didn't get a ton of them in that first season of Ahsoka. We want more of them. Ezra's supposed to be a huge part. Hera's back. Like everybody's supposed to be back. So that's pretty cool. They announced that Star Wars Visions will continue, which is incredible because everything that they do when they just let Japan roll and go full anime with it creates nothing but awesome, fun stories. I really hope that James Mangold, if his movie does happen, he takes a ton of inspiration from the Last Ronin Star Wars Visions episode and just let it be like a samurai old school feel of a man like really kind of discovering the true power that the Force has. Sure. I think that would be really cool. Any other thoughts on those, Kyle?
No. I hope Ahsoka kind of picks up in quality for me personally, but otherwise that's about it.
Fair enough. You said something that I forgot to mention that I wanted to bring up, because you talked about how sometimes these shows end up not having the quality, right? You were talking about one of your worries is like, yes, Mando looks great for the quality of TV, but when you actually put it on the big screen, is that quality going to translate well? Mm-hmm. And I have the exact opposite fear. And I just recently had it with Daredevil. I think it looks too good. And they're trying too hard to bring big screen ideas to the small screen. Like they shot in an aspect ratio that didn't make sense to me. Like all these different things that like it. And I think Marvel shows do that a lot, where it's like,
yeah, I don't disagree with that.
It doesn't feel like it belongs here. It belongs on a bigger screen right now. Like I don't know. It has a feel to it that it's like, it doesn't feel like they made this with the idea of like good TV, like a Breaking Bad, a Game of Thrones, a Severance.
It's so strange because it feels like they film in an aspect ratio that it's meant for the big screen. But when you look at like, for me, the visual quality and like the color grading and the lighting and just even some of the more practical elements of it, it just doesn't feel like it's worthy of the big screen for me. Then again, I could say that for a lot of movies. It's not just a Disney thing, but even still, it's strange. Like, I know what you're saying. I do agree with you, but that's what I just see through most of these productions, and it just baffles me.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's a clashing of movie and television. And do
It
we
really
want
is.
to talk about Daredevil? Because we both seen Daredevil. You want
Yeah, no,
to jump into that?
there's only one more thing I wanted to mention about
Yeah,
Star Wars.
go ahead.
Everything
Yeah.
else, that was kind of it. They did briefly ask Kathleen Kennedy about stepping down, and she said all she responded with is "I'm not retiring," which makes it sound like she's either going to take on a bigger role, or she's not actually leaving,
Mm-hmm.
or she's just transitioning into something new. Interesting. And they announced that there will be no Star Wars Celebration next year, but it will be back in 2027 in LA. And I'm going to start putting money aside now, baby, because I would love to go.
I wonder why that is. Why not do it in 26? I mean, isn't one of the movies coming out in 26? Why would you not want to?
I don't know.
Then again, I'm a casual fan. It doesn't really matter to me, but like that's just a strange thing to decide on. But oh well,
Could be a
whatever.
hype thing. Star Wars' hype is dipped. I'm a huge fan, and I didn't even know Celebration happened this weekend. Like,
yeah, I mean,
people have fallen off. You get a big movie in theaters. People are like, man, I'm back. Star Wars is back. Like, if it's great, like, let's go. Star Wars Celebration next year, let's go. I want to go so bad. But anyway, Daredevil. Spoilers?
Sure.
Huzzah. Spoilers from this point if you haven't seen Daredevil. I finished it the other night. Kyle finished it a couple days ago. Kyle, what'd you think?
Fine. It was fine. But I'm not really surprised that that's my end result of it. I was kind of tentative about this show coming back and being under the production of Disney and Marvel rather than under whatever production
Disney
it was
and Marvel.
for Netflix. I don't know. I guess just because but yeah, it was about the level of quality that I was expecting it to be. And since I was just being critical about them not even like 5 minutes ago, yeah, it still is a bit apparent in moments for this show too. So I was happy to see the cast back, or at least Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio back in their respective roles.
Vanessa.
I did miss, Karen and Foggy throughout this show. They removed them from the equation. I kind of wish they didn't. I didn't really like those decisions. I get that they were trying to.
I think Karen's back.
I hope so.
2. I believe they're filming season 2 right
now. Then I would like to see like another Karen-centric episode, like we did in season 3 for what she's gone and what she's been through. That would kind of help me a bit, but otherwise, it just felt like they made the wrong decision in trying to isolate Daredevil. Isolate Matt from everyone else, but it also didn't quite feel like it was isolated enough. So I guess that character's arc to me didn't quite feel like they nailed down the idea of like what path or what emotional journey they really want him to go. So it didn't quite 100% feel like the character to me, at least. But Charlie Cox is still very good in the role. Action wise, I thought the action was pretty good. Not to like, the obvious peaks that we've seen from the past seasons, but still really good and very entertaining. They were trying to be very grim with the action.
They lit it darker, I think, at times, though, to still Disneyify it and hide it a little bit. Because there were times it was like, in the old show, I would really see this when, Punisher blows somebody's, arm off or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, but continue.
And on top of with the lighting of the show, it does that thing where it's just all the background and like the lighting is just all in grays to me. Whereas with the other show, it just has some depth with like the nighttime scenes. Like it's so dark in the backgrounds, but yet the buildings and the city just is able to come to life and you feel like he's running through a city. Yeah. These feel like you're on stages, which it's a production is obviously not going to be, realistic, but even still you have to make it look realistic still to make it feel lived in. And Vincent D'Onofrio, he still rocks as Kingpin. I actually do like this arc of him becoming the mayor of New York. It can feel very fitting for the current times that we're in. It's on par with current events, some may say, but it is like an interesting angle to go about it for that character, and it also makes it interesting for his relationship with Vanessa as well. Like, I am liking the dynamic; it's very different. It's familiar but very different, and a direction that I think is making these characters a bit more interesting. So I'm happy to see that result.
I think Vanessa being more of a player instead of more of a damsel is a good choice that the show,
or like a trophy.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice that this show did that the other show never really quite got to. And I like that they brought Poindexter back as Bullseye, and the same actor and everything. And I like that they brought him and gave him a little bit more time to shine. He's kind of not as big of a villain as he probably should be in the original 3 seasons. But anyway, continue.
Well, for me, I'll admit I haven't seen the Echo show where Kingpin's in that, and I do remember Kingpin getting shot in the head at Hawkeye in the Hawkeye show, which that's just a bad show. But I did feel like his leap into like becoming the mayor and like that arc that he's going through and his relationship with Vanessa, I didn't see like from the Daredevil show going into this one. I don't see how that came about. So I would have, since it's a show, I would like that to be shown to me. Like the leading up to him wanting to be mayor, or like that decision-making process to do so. So I'm just saying this, that maybe I'm missing something with the Echo show, but for me personally, I just would rather see that be happening in the actual Daredevil show. Because that's
just... Do you know that happens in Echo, or are you just...
I'm guessing.
Making it up?
I'm guessing. I'm assuming. I have no idea. But that's just my assumption. Because it's, the MCU and everything ties in some way. So, I don't know. That's just my one complaint, is that I wish that would have been more in a Daredevil show-centric arc. So that way I can see him it just feeling a bit more earned or a bit more interesting.
That doesn't...
So, okay, Chuckles, go ahead. Tell me.
That just didn't matter to me at all. I was just giggling because it was like, if none of that happens at Echo, then...
Again, I'm totally guessing, but it's just...
Yeah, I just wanted to see.
But it's frustrating. It's frustrating that it could have been the Daredevil show. Whatever.
Well, to me, it doesn't matter at all. I couldn't care less about seeing him build his way up to being like, I'm going to be the mayor. To me, that doesn't matter at all. I do like the idea of becoming mayor. I think it made sense at the end of the show. He said that they've kind of figured all this out because Vanessa, when he was gone, was dealing at the ports and finding a way to kind of make it legal. And now he's mayor and now he controls the ports. And I think that was enough and worked for me.
Clever.
The show really, I hated most of the choices of one. I hated the aspect ratio and the amount of close-ups. Holy cow. Were we always so close to someone's face? We were never really in a wide shot. Every episode, you never really got in a wide shot. And I did not like it. I thought it was poorly directed. And obviously bad choice of cinematography, a lot of grays, like you were saying. Yeah. But it did feel like we know that Vincent D'Onofrio, that Charlie and John Bernthal went to the people at Marvel and said, this is not the show we thought we were doing, and that they did make some changes. And it feels like it. It feels like that the writer's room had, half of them were like, we're doing something new. And the other half said, we're doing something old. And it made this weird hodgepodge of like, yes, this is awesome. Oh, God, this is not great.
Yeah.
And then, but overall, I think the show is solid. I think it's a solid show. I don't think it's the best thing they've put out. I don't think it's the worst thing they've put out. I do like Kingpin becoming mayor, but it is starting to feel like it's a little too big for him in the MCU. Like, you're telling me all this is going on and Spider-Man doesn't know, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop's running around New York, has, nothing's happening. You're telling me, like, is this taking place same time as Captain the newest Captain America, Brave New World? Is that
Mm-hmm.
why the president isn't being like, what's going on with New York City? Like where Marvel is so big that they are a legit comic book. And I think it's fair to have these critiques now at this point, 30 something odd movies and shows in, where now it is, when you're reading the comic book, you're going to think sometimes, well, how come Spider-Man didn't swing in? And maybe you get that answer, maybe you don't. And I think it's a fair thing to start to wonder, like, why aren't characters doing things? I wonder if he'll have bigger play moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe this is going to move into Spider-Man 4. Maybe Kingpin is going to make a transition and become a big time serious villain. Like who knows? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But either way, I thought the show was fun. I had a good time with it. The original show is elite. This show is solid. Yeah. There was I feel like I enjoyed watching it. I looked forward to the newest episode, so it's a good show. It's not like I was sludging through it. I dug it. So, all right. Should we move on to speaking of Marvel actors, should we move on to Sinners?
Oh my god, yeah. Let's review Sinners.
All right. Well, Kyle, what'd you think?
I am loving this movie, man.
Yeah. It's the best movie of 2025 so far. It's by far. It's not even close.
Yeah, easily.
It's the best movie of 2025 so far.
Easily.
You already watched Tremors? Holy cow, dude.
Yeah, we were having a movie night after our Oscars ended. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. Sorry.
No, it's all good. No, Sinners is awesome. I was able to see the movie twice for the weekend, funny enough. And I just the second time watching it just really clicked for me about all the elements that this movie was trying to do, all the themes that this movie was trying to accomplish. For me, like with the first watch, and I think this might happen for some people, that it's like a lot of ideas being thrown together at one, and the movie is almost structured like a tale of two movies, like a first half and a second half sort of thing. But for my second time watching it, it felt like it had a much better flow. So maybe it's just me not anticipating like what this movie was going to be, or like what I thought the movie was going to be versus like what the end result was. And maybe that could be happening for a lot of people. I wouldn't be too surprised. But like I said, the second viewing for me really helped see all the elements and all the themes really flow together very well. Just all of the themes behind what I imagine to be like race, and just like what it means for African Americans to be African Americans, and just to understand history and culture, and especially music, all being intertwined into this story. And just the first half, like, it's all of those elements, and it's done really well just through cinematography and through a terrific score. Both of those elements are beautiful and shine so bright in this movie that it just was so refreshing to watch, because especially for scores, that's almost hard for me to come by in some regards. I just really appreciate a very memorable score.
Ludwig
and this movie delivers.
Has cemented himself as the best in the game. You have to put his name up there with Hans Zimmer, with I think John Williams at this point. I think he is now on the trajectory of a legacy composer. Started with The Mandalorian is when I think he popped off. He's been doing great scores ever since. His next project is the Odyssey that he is scoring. So,
did Mando come out before or after Black Panther? Because I think that was him.
Oh, did he do the first Black Panther?
I believe so.
Then it might have been Black Panther that had popped off around that time.
I mean, but this guy is he's finally established himself as like our generation's, Hans Zimmer, John Williams. He's that guy. As is Ryan Coogler, who I will keep seeing the praises of throughout this review. He delivers on just going hog wild for making the movie that he set out to make. And like I said, when it comes to all of the thematic elements maybe not coming together on my first watch, it does kind of feel like it's a passion project for him to make this movie that maybe he didn't quite nail down on how to make it flow quite that well. But again, on my second viewing, maybe I just was anticipating things a lot more clearly now, that I could just be able to see what he was visualizing and what he was trying to accomplish here. Um, and through his direction came an incredible cast that just delivers. It was one of those casts where I was just blown away by not only the chemistry that they have with each other, but just the charisma that they were exuding onto the screen. Like, it just felt so good for actors to not feel so staged or feel so forced into trying to have chemistry with each other, but it just felt so organic and it just felt so
really
clean
did.
the entire way through. And obviously everyone's saying the praises of Michael B, everyone's saying the praises of Haley. Delroy Lindo, every line he delivers is just gold. But you can't discredit Miles Caton. You can't discredit, I'm going to butcher her name, Wumi Mosaku. I apologize again if I'm butchering that. And then Jamie Lawson. Just these actors were new to me personally, but they just deliver on just being great for the roles that they're in, great for the movie.
Isn't this Miles' movie debut? They announced that in the
That's
credits.
right.
Yeah.
You're right. I believe he sang backup for SZA at some concerts. I think I was hearing about that as well. Which that guy has some great vocals, man.
Yeah.
I was blown away by how good that guy can sing.
And shout out to my boy Omar Benson Miller, CSI Miami, baby, making it all the way to Sinners. Let's go.
That's awesome. I did not know about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, second half delivers as well, just for, a big climactic battle. The vampire stuff really comes into play there, and it just delivers. It's bloody, it's action packed, just a lot of fun to watch. The movie is very impressive. I'm glad that I saw it twice, so that way I can get like a more clear head and understanding of what the movie's accomplishing. That's just for me personally. I know a lot of people, especially Alex, that on first watch they
saw it twice.
Well, hey, that was pretty fun. But for a lot of people, they were able to really appreciate it on first watch. And yeah, I'm buzzing about this movie still. It's Sunday and I'm still buzzing about it after seeing it so many times.
I did too.
So you go.
I loved it. Yeah, I didn't have the issue. I've only seen it the once. I didn't have the issue you did of feeling the first time that it was tonally like too different. I think the movie's flow is excellent. I think that the more I've thought about it, I think in the early part of the movie, a lot of their lines feel like old school, like zombie vampire movie. Like the whole, obviously the end of it feels like that. It feels like, movies like Day of the Dead and things like that are a bit campy. But at the beginning of the movie, half of the dialogue, they're spitting out one-liners. Like that harkens to those old movies. And to me, that is really what puts that flow together, because they showed us very early on that it was going to be that style of movie. And it's an original movie. It's great. I mean, we're talking a period piece about, I think it's got a great twist on vampires, and it asks questions and speaks to Black culture that we can't even relate to here, that I think is really excellent. Yeah, like, absolutely. I think the idea with the end of the movie with the vampires, the way they go about talking to the humans, because there will be conversations before anybody gets bit. I think the conversations they have asks a lot of really important questions about what it means to be alive, what it means to be human, what does it mean for African Americans, the Black community, to be a part, especially at that time that the movie sets in. And I think it really delivers on those themes without giving anything away. All the performances are excellent. You can feel that the cast had fun making this movie, that they got into the horror. It was really cool seeing Michael B. Jordan play not only twins, but just get to play a different style of character than just Creed and, from Killmonger from Marvel. Like, I think we got to see a little bit more. Obviously, we've seen him in other things, like Fruitville Station and stuff like that. But it was cool kind of getting back to that it's not just they do have fighting and things, but I think there was a lot of human moments with him. All the other actors were awesome. Overall, and the score really does stand out, and the way Coogler uses music is really, really cool.
I also, if you don't mind, Alex, I also want to
Go
give
ahead.
props to production design and the way that the film is shot as well.
Oh yeah.
Just production design wise, it's so beautiful and it's so well accomplished. There's a moment in particular that I think of. It's an overhead shot of a train station, and I could just feel
Yeah.
as if I'm standing next to the train, or I feel like the engine like driving past me, and I can feel like the crowd of people just walk in. I don't know, just it just feels. You could tell that it was practical sets. It flourished with like making you feel like you're living in the movie, and cinematography also plays a role in that. Which I didn't see it on 70 millimeter like you were able to. So please brag about that. But or nor did I see it
Gorgeous.
in IMAX. But you could just feel like the visual film, the graininess of it just pop off of even my crappy screen from Regal theaters, which do better, Regal. But just the visual aspects of it all was just so well accomplished.
Yeah.
Great stuff from Coogler.
I got curious right now. This was posted 1 hour ago, according to Variety. The movie has made about $61 million globally so far. It opened this weekend with 45.6 in North America.
Okay,
And it
that's about right.
opened and it had a budget of about 90 million, so probably around closer to 100, somewhere between 100 120 million probably with marketing and everything.
Mm,
Hopefully it continues. I have only seen one negative.
like
I've
fully
seen one.
negative.
Everything else, I have only seen overwhelming love for the movie by the people who have seen it. I'm hoping that that translates into word of mouth, old school movies, staying at the theater, just slowly continuing to rake in that box office. I really hope that stays.
I
But
hope.
right now it's looking like it's another couple weeks it'll hopefully at least make its money back and be a
Mhm.
success for Warner Brothers.
I hope so, man. I hope this movie, like an original movie such as this, can deliver and makes audiences curious and go to see it. Because I wrote this in my Letterbox review, kind of in a tongue in cheek way, but also serious sort of way. That I don't know what people want to watch anymore. Like every time, like there is something original coming out and it looks good and it ends up being good, no one sees it. So I don't know what people want, and I'm getting really annoyed about it. I'm getting sick of it because there's always someone complaining there's nothing original anymore, and I can list off five,
This is
six
right here.
movies that were original and came out, and you just didn't want to go see it. So I hope this is a different case.
Yeah, like the
But what
Minecraft
do I
movie.
know? Yeah, Minecraft movie.
Original.
Yeah,
Huge success.
good job,
If
society.
you are one of these kids in the theaters throwing popcorn, bringing chicken in, you suck. Your parents suck. They didn't raise you right. I'm all down for a little bit of hollering here and there. I'm down for excitement, but I am not down for kids being blatantly rude and disrespectful. What's wrong with you? Horrible.
Back in my day,
Horrible.
we showed respect at the movie theater.
I never seen anything like. Have you seen some of those clips?
No, it's crazy, man.
True.
I That is
We
next
did have
level.
respect.
Yeah,
Kids are off.
all we did was talk loud. But no, for real, don't do that, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't
Cheering
be.
is fine.
Yeah.
Being really excited is fine. Put your phone away. Don't bring a live chicken into the theater. Don't be
Yeah,
throwing
don't
popcorn especially
people
when other
people are
people are
working, man.
paying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
sucks on
Well,
them.
what else was on the docket today? We got a little bit of
You
time left for one or
you
two more things.
I know you wanted to talk about the F4 or Fantastic Four trailer,
I'm
the
just
new one that came
disappointed
out.
you didn't even tell me about it. I didn't find out about it till about 12 hours after talking to you all day. I would have filmed a reaction.
I
Just
forgot.
sitting here doing nothing. You just hate me.
Yeah, that's
You
it. You
hate
got
me.
me. You got me.
You're the
uh
guy who's super hyped for this movie. What happened to the hype?
uh
Dial?
this trailer
Stunk
actually
apparently, huh?
this was a trailer that came out at CinemaCon,
Oh, that's
so
why
I
you
did
just
already
didn't
know
care.
about it. So that's
Just didn't
probably is
care.
why I forgot to tell you about it, because I was thinking that it already came out. Uh, I wasn't a fan of this new trailer actually.
Wow. Okay, go ahead. I pulled up the trailer.
Um,
Why?
I just didn't feel like it added much more info on the chemistry of the cast and the dynamics of the Fantastic Four family. it's really just that was like my biggest takeaway. I also thought it was odd that we still don't see practically anything of Mr. Fantastic and his powers.
You do at the end.
Yeah, like briefly. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't. I wish it was just a little more stuff because I feel like everyone else's powers we're seeing a lot more of in the trailer, and for him, it's just like a blip. It's gone in and out.
I think looking at the trailer right now, I think Invisible Woman only has a very quick scene, and it's the same shot. I think Johnny is the only one that goes lights, flames on a couple times.
Well, then I guess we can extend that out to everyone else. But I just really remember Mr. Fantastic in particular. It felt like it didn't see enough of him, but I don't know.
Sounds like
Maybe
you
I'll
just
be wrong
didn't
on
get what
that
you
one.
wanted. Since when do you want them to show you everything?
I would like to see them using their powers. I think that's kind of cool in a superhero movie. Superhero movie, you want to see the powers. Second trailer, yeah, maybe a bit. Maybe a bit.
Trailer?
Yeah, we reacted to the first one.
Kyle goes, I don't understand what people want anymore. At the end of the day, I don't understand what you want. Because two
want a good trailer.
2 movies ago, Kyle's like, trailers are stupid. Don't even show me a trailer. I don't need to know nothing. Now, why didn't I see more? Where's all the superpowers? Why didn't I see Galactus's face? Why didn't I see this? They made Silver Surfer a woman. Now I hate myself. Blah, 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 blah.
I didn't think the Silver Surfer looked that good either.
I
didn't think the CGI looked very good.
I thought it looked like the Silver Surfer. That's what
True.
I expected.
They nailed the look. I just don't think the CGI looks good.
I thought this trailer was good. I liked it. I didn't have any of these same things. Don't need to see much more than this. To be honest, that's enough. I'm good on trailers. Unless Kyle wants to react, then I'm ready.
I will say this. I do like that there's this bubbling feeling that the Fantastic Four aren't necessarily superheroes, that they are just like spokespeople of the space race because of what happens to them in space. And now that they are put in position to have to save people for once, and they're in over their heads. I do like that angle of it.
I think the idea too of saying right off the bat that she is pregnant and that this whole movie is most likely that she will be pregnant during it is kind of cool.
Could add something to it. Yeah, I have to see the movie, but
well,
it's cool.
If she gets mortally wounded, you're like,
oh man,
baby in there. So maybe we should be a little more careful. Maybe we should have stretched a little more there, Mr. Fantastic.
Maybe show your power a bit more, Mr. Fantastic. Come on.
If something came out that Pedro Pascal isn't a good guy, I would be devastated. I love him. He is so good. I love that he is in everything. I think he's a great choice for Reed. I think he's great in The Last of Us. I think he's great as the Mandalorian. I want more Pedro in my films.
Did you see the teaser for Ari Aster's movie Eddington?
Yeah.
He might be playing a not nice guy in that movie.
Well, they didn't show enough.
Oh, for you? Oh, well, for me, I think they showed too much. I'm good after this. I'm good after this. I don't need to see more after that.
I've seen Pedro Pascal play the villain, Kyle.
Was it Game of Thrones or was it Narcos?
Kind of. I haven't seen Narcos, but I've seen him play the villain.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him be amazing. I've seen Wonder Woman too. Come on now.
He was amazing.
He's a villain.
Oh yeah, he is the villain in that. I forgot about
Kyle. I've seen him in the Last of Us playing Joel. I mean, Joel half the time is a villain. Brutally murders people. It's incredible.
Technically, it's not nice. Yeah.
Pedro is awesome. He is great. He's a great choice, and I feel like he's just living on cloud 9. Seems like such a good guy.
Absolutely. He's famous, and now he's of course he's living on cloud 9. I am seeing people, online, obviously. So take that with a grain of salt. But I have been seeing people now starting to realize that he's everywhere and that he's the name for like movies and stuff, and now everyone's
like
like,
that's been a thing
we're
for a
gonna get
while.
too much of him now, and I'm like, yeah, it was gonna happen, but
I think people have
you know.
already been saying that since he was Reed. I think that started when he got cast as Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Pedro's everywhere."
Well, between Last of Us and now like 4 movies coming out with his name on it throughout the year, like now we're here. Now we're in the moment of Pedro for sure.
I love it though. All right, I think that's a
Yeah.
good spot to end.
Let's do it, man.
All right, guys, what did you think? Comment below, let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Thank you, Moo on patrons, and as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.